dinagruta tangi kididaga dai daita dinagruta tangi kididaga dai daita dinagruta tangi kididaga sar 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 dinaga din sar 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 dinaga din sar sar dinaga din.
Odissi is one of the famous principal classical dance forms of India and the traditional dance form of Odisha. Odissi dance is not just popular in India but also appreciated all over the world. Today, we have with us the famous choreographer and dancer from Malaysia who also is a Padma Shri awardee for his contribution towards Indian classical dance forms, particularly to Odissi dance. He is none other than Datuk Ramli Ibrahim. Mr. Ramli, welcome to our channel.
Thank you for having me, Adyasha.
So first of all, I want to ask you, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. I am delighted to be back again in Bhubaneswar after missing it for more than 2.5 years due to the COVID pandemic. So I'm connecting with my friends, my very, very good friends in dance, in literature, and it's wonderful to be back to launch our book, the Kumbh Mela Prayagraj 2019, Join in Dance. So we had a book release at the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan.
Sir, at the outset, please do let us know how did you get attracted towards a foreign dance form like Odissi?
I think it's not a foreign dance form. I think we are a multiracial community, society, nation in Malaysia. So the Indian classical dances, the Indian culture, arts and culture, very familiar to Malaysians. So I was familiar with Bharatanatyam. Of course, there are a very strong community of Tamils and South Indians in Malaysia from for centuries, I believe. So I think our national boundaries were fairly recent, or else we wouldn't have Borobudur or Angkor Wat or Prambanan and all these places. And Malaysia has got also the Bujang Valley. So I think Odissi was a gift, or Bharatanatyam was a gift to everyone all over the world.
Recently, your book Kumbh Mela has launched,
Yes.
and you call it as a Malaysia-India experience.
Yes.
How do you justify it?
Well, the book itself was designed by Jyoti Ranjan Swain, who is the founder, art director of Ketaki Foundation that has launched the book. And I had come in Bhubaneswar and spent a couple of weeks conceiving the book, talking of the book with Jyoti. And, there are many references in the book. Well, of course, we perform in at the Kumbh Mela, in the Odyssey production. There are references to painters also, painters like Dinanath Pati, the late Dinanath Pati, who was a very, very good supporter and informant, and truly an Odyssey consultant for us for many, many years. And Kishore Kumar Sahu is featured there. Ramahari Jena was featured also in the book. So the reference to Odisha itself is quite a lot. But also we are going to have the book released in Chennai. Much of the photography was done by A. Pratap. A part of the text was written by Hema Iyer Ramani, who is also Chennai. And some wonderful photographs was done by Lalit Verma. So truly it was a bilateral cultural connection between India and Malaysia.
So let us go back to the past.
Yes.
You are born and brought up in Malaysia.
Right.
So what led you to get attracted with the Indian classical dance form, especially to Odissi dance?
Yes, I was first exposed to Bharatanatyam. As you may not remember, because this is much before your time, in the 60s and 70s, Odissi was not that known. I was only exposed to Odissi after Bharatanatyam. And I think somehow Odissi was more suitable to my temperament. I'm not saying which is better or not better, but my temperament is more lyrical, more kind of melodious. I thought that the kind of mathematical approach of Bharatanatyam, especially in the Adabu system, whereas the Odyssey is much more lyrical, and also we have the beautiful Tribange,
Yes, sir.
the Tribanga, which is not symmetrical, and I'm not really a symmetrical person. I guess part of that, so there is a great attraction towards Odyssey, and I am from the Deva Prasad style, and I think that tantric element that is found in Deva Prasad repertoire really kind of convinced me that this is the style that I should really go as deep as possible.
There are different forms of Odissi dance.
Yes.
Which one is your favorite?
The three gurus, Pankaj Charan Das and Kalucharan Mahapatra and Deva Prasad, and you'll find that the Kalubabu Parampara or Odissi Bani is really has got a strong hegemony, has strong influence over the Odissi all over the world. But with the interesting thing is Kuala Lumpur is the center of the Deva Prasad style, and maybe lately Ratikanta Mahapatra is coming to the Temple of Fine Arts in Kuala Lumpur. But for many years, Sutra had promoted the Deva Prasad style, which I felt that I was attracted very, very much more, because I thought that the Shaivite element and the strong tantric underlying tone of Deva Prasad style was much more suitable to me.
Sir, in Odissi,
Yes.
your look and your texture in many performances, it was so different. How do you manage so differently?
Well, I think basically I'm a modernist. I'm not, my bearing is not like a traditional guru. I have a very strong modern dance background, but I have a great respect for tradition. So I have one feet in very contemporary modern kind of outlook, and the other one, I have a great admiration for everything that is traditional and represents the collective consciousness of the people, because it is refined by centuries. But at the same time, like my good friend, the late Dr. Dinanath Pati, I felt that we are modernists, but we can be modernists even within tradition. With great respect to tradition, I think modernity is the one that gives life and make the traditional dynamic and grow with the times, hopefully without losing the essence of the tradition. So when I do things, sometimes the vocabulary is intact, but how I present the work is rather kind of contemporary.
Odissi
Yes.
is specially dedicated to Lord Jagannath.
Yes.
It's a tradition. So, as a Muslim, how would you connect that emotion of Odissi?
Well, I think that's not a conflict for me, because all dances, Bharatanatyam or Odissi or Kathak, is about rasa. And the rasa bhakti, the concept of the love for the Godhead is permeate through all the works of medieval poets of Odisha. So I think the idea and the concept of rasa is the core of Indian dance, all Indian dance. So I remember when I was with the great dancer Ram Gopal in London more than four decades ago. He used to tell me that Ramli, the gods are not hurry. Please don't hurry when you dance, and wherever you dance is the temple. So Odissi associated with the Jagannath Seva. But definitely I am of the opinion that Jagannath, Konark and Odyssey are the great exports of Odisha, and these are the authentic export of Utkala or Kalinga, a nation then known for its beautiful art form. And we are here to continue to celebrate the exquisiteness of this art form, specifically Odyssey.
Mr. Ramli, you belong to Guru Debaprasad, the School of Odissi Dance. How do you differentiate it from Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra's Odissi Dance School, which is famous worldwide?
Well, I really don't want to say one is better than the other. One chooses what is right for oneself. And I consciously had chosen the Deba Prasad style. I had met Indrani Rahman in New York in the early 80s, and she kind of pointed me towards this. And my first teacher whom I was exposed was the late Guru Vijay Kumar Senapati, who was in Puri. My first city that I went to was Puri, which I love. I love the beach and the kind of going to the Odisha, the state Odisha Parisat, where is the school where I learned, and I loved that life because I was already dancing with a professional company in Australia at that time. And when I met Indrani, who pointed me to Deba Prasad, and it was Deba Prasad who found me walking up and down the Sangeet Mahavidyalaya. And then he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm looking for Deba Prasad. And he said, I am Deba Prasad. So he asked me to go to his house, not to Sangeet Mahavidyalaya. And so I went to his house every weekend to look at it. And I love, at that time, I saw Guru Gajendra Panda doing the shtai, the big shtai. And I thought that this is the style that suit me, because I find the too much embellishment, too much using of the rib cage was not suitable for me. So I like the Tandava quality of the Deba Prasad style. And so I went deeper into it until he passed away in 1986. I continued with Guru Gajendra Kumar Panda, and we commissioned a lot of new work. And I also had like going to the village of Anjira, because I have my kind of input with him, encouraging him to look at certain aspect of the work and developing that. I always say that don't make it too long, Gajendra, because the modern audience are not able to concentrate so much. I mean, at Anjira, can you imagine that we were there from 11 o'clock in the morning until 9 p.m. And they were still dancing, So in the contemporary audience, they wanted a smaller bites of dance, but still maintaining, we cannot compromise on the quality of dancing. And I think this is what we also have seen. The quality of the technique of dancing of Odyssey has just gone up and up.
So you got the award of Padma Shri, the civilian award,
Yes.
Padma Shri from a government of India. So in your country, Malaysia, how is it appreciated?
Yes, as you know that I have been given the title Datuk, which is like a Padma Shri. It's a title that was given by the king. Though a Padma Shri by right is not a title. Apparently, I was literally given a letter to say that we shall not use the word Padma Shri Ramli Ibrahim. You should say Padma Shri Awardee.
Award.
So it's not a title, but a Datuk is a title that I have to say when I say my name. It's Datuk Ramli Ibrahim. I'm also recipient of the Sangeet Natak Academy Award, which is really an award that I treasure because it is given by the artists. And to have this kind of recognition by the artist fraternity community itself it's a great honor for me, because I am in a way looking at Indian dance or Odissi or Bharatanatyam in a way as an outsider. So it's a great honor for me, and it's a great privilege for me to have this recognition. But having said that, I really think that the connection between Asia, Southeast Asia certainly, and with Odisha has been for millennia. As you know, Odisha celebrate Bali Jatra,
Yes, yes.
Kalinga Bali Jatra,
Yes.
and this has proven that this connection have existed for centuries, that I am part of that connection. I mean, we cannot say that globalization has only happened now. It has happened centuries ago.
Exactly, sir. You known as Datuk Ramli Ibrahim.
Yes.
What is the meaning of Datuk?
Datuk is really an appellation to say that you are respected. A Datuk is like a grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah. When you have a grandfather, you call Datuk, you know. But this is a kind of a, I mean, just like you have a Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan, you have from a Datuk, you kind of elevate yourself if you are given by the king to Tan Sri and to eventually Tun, like a Bharat Ratna kind of recognition. But it's a title that I don't carry like an albatross around my neck. It's just a title, but people keep calling me Datuk Ramli Ibrahim, but you can call me Ramli.
But it sounds nice, na? Datuk Ramli Ibrahim. What was the first experience when you start dancing Odissi?
Well, I think it's, you know, sometimes facetiously, I would say that I was a dancer in my previous life. You know, people say that, how come you are so passionate about Odyssey? You must have been a temple dancer, a Devadasi or a Mahari in your previous life. And I said, yes, surely. But, you know, I've always loved dancing, you know. So when I was at the village of Anjira, when I saw people drumming and all that kind of thing, there must be something inside them that compelled them to do this, because they are not just doing it for fun, they're doing it for themselves. And I think dancing is part of that journey for me to achieve my fullest realization of myself, I guess.
So, how do you evaluate the idioms of Odissi dance forms?
I don't know how to answer this question because you can have it personally. How important is Odyssey in my own life development, and how is Odyssey have developed till now? But I'll answer you the second one first. I think there is a constant evolution in every form of Odyssey. You know, the vocabulary is evolving. Fortunately, we don't have the Adavu system as in Bharatanatyam that set the Panjara or the too constrictive thing for Odyssey. Odyssey is a little bit more open. You know, new choreographers are coming out with new movement, but new movement which is still Odyssey, and this is why we can bring in the folk tradition also. And the you know, people like Aruna Mohanty or Nityananda or Gajendra Kumar Panda, Durga Charan, all these wonderful choreographers that are branching out differently from the same tree to find even contemporary issues that they can do in Odyssey. Sharmila Biswas doing on textile or doing on different kind of things, and wonderful development is happening in the Mardal tradition by Guru Daneshwar Swain. You know, all this kind of dynamism has placed Odyssey as one of the most evolving art form. And I'm not here to sit down and to give my kind of comment on where does it stand. It is still evolving, and wonderfully so. But on my own, how does it contribute to my own development? It is very, very important.
Yes.
If you were to say that my tapestry of life and my journey, it's not fully completed, but Odyssey is placed there as one of the most important kind of shape and figure in my tapestry and my journey of life.
For last 2 years, COVID situation is there. I mean, in India, the situation was much tough.
Yes.
So, how did you sir manage in Malaysia? I mean, there was no auditorium,
Yes,
there was no
yes.
audience.
Yes, yes. So I was very lucky, Adyasha, because I was commissioned by the ministry to do several online videos, virtual dances. So in one form, you can look at the YouTube, Gerak Angin, I was artistic director of 13 works. 13 works, and the most recent last year at the Rentak Bumi, which translates as the rhythm of the earth, I was able to be the artist director of 6. So we continue through online or through virtual media the dance forms. As you know that in India, the online thing was very active also. And of course, but in online, you have the good, the bad, and the indifferent, all thrown in one, such that a lot of my friends would say that, I mean, Ramli, Odyssey, Bharatanatyam has been devalued because everyone is doing it in front of the refrigerator or in the kitchen or whatever it is. But we are very lucky, we are able to work with professional directors to produce almost like a film, but very short, not more than 8-7 minutes of works that look at each angle of the dance in a very professional and aesthetic manner.
So, what is your future aim?
I've just been back from looking at, I think the Ganjam district is one of the most interesting region, rich in culture, music, dance, folk tradition and all that kind of thing. We did a work called Ganjam at one stage, and I was thinking of doing a work that is based on the story of Lord Rama, and I was looking at the Ram Leela traditions, and I was in the village of Anjira, which is strictly a Rama tradition village. And so we're looking at that art form in the future with Guru Gajendra Panda, in the hope that we can inject also the musical tradition from Ram Leela or some of the songs, some of the shlokas incorporated in this new full-length work that we hope to do soon. But on a bigger picture, in 2008, we did a very interesting festival called Stirring Odyssey. And I thought maybe the time is right now to do a Stirring Festival, Stirring Odyssey Festival 2.0. And because Kuala Lumpur has a very strong following of Odyssey, and I think the cultural diplomacy is very, very important. And I remembered talking to several people that when there was a direct flight from Kuala Lumpur to Bhubaneswar, and there is a great kind of buzz with Orissa, textile craft of Orissa. You can find melas in Malaysia. So this is what it is about now also. I think we have to move forward with the art form, the performing arts, literature, things like this is what cultural diplomacy is about. And I think it's about time, maybe then I can start stirring up interest to having a Stirring Odyssey 2.0, maybe next year or something like that. So that's our plan at the moment.
You have a long journey throughout your life of
Right.
Odissi dance. So how was your upalabdhi in Odissi dance form?
Well, this is a very tough question because what happens is at this age, I'm going to be 70. It's no longer, I think one has to reduce one's ego and look at what do one want to contribute as a service to society, to a cause. And Odyssey is one of the major causes in my life. It has given me such a wonderful vista of beauty, and without me having to look at it as a kind of a burden, you know. I take all the challenges that is thrown to me as a blessing also. But I think Odyssey has given me the humility to be humble, and to allow Odyssey to bring, I think, the best of me as a service to humanity. I mean, that's too big a word for it, but I believe that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ramli. It was a great session with us. We got to know much about your life and throughout your journey. Thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure, Adyasha. It's always wonderful to be interviewed by OdishaLIVE.
Thank you so much.